This is the Jug O Sip podcast.
Marilyn Monroe influenced Ginger Spice, and Ginger Spice influenced me, and I like hearing about the women who influenced me, who influenced them. I like, even not even just women, but men. Like, for example, I'm a big Tim Burton fan, and Tim Burton was deeply influenced by Vincent Price.
Right, yeah, he was.
And Vincent Price was in Edward Scissorhands, and he did a short movie called Vincent about him. I like seeing where my influences get their influences because I will try to dig deep into the roots of what influenced me.
It's Tim Burton and Vincent Price. It's Lady Gaga and Madonna. Then you got
Lady Gaga and Freddie Mercury and David Bowie too. She was also deeply influenced by both of them.
So all three of them. Right. Okay.
Lady Gaga's early career, she wore a lightning bolt across her eye like Bowie.
Right.
Like his Ziggy Stardust era.
Then you got people like
Well, a lot of people got to work with their heroes. Like, let's think about who Tim Burton got to work with his hero.
Yeah. Lady Gaga got to work with Madonna eventually. And
Wait, when did she work with Madonna?
She didn't do a song with Madonna?
No, they actually had a feud for a bit, I believe.
Oh, I thought she did a song with Madonna.
They had a feud over Born This Way. That was the problem. Like, she said it sounded too much like Express Yourself, and there was a whole conflict about that.
Oh, I thought
No,
I was under the impression she did.
But the point is, a lot of people who are influenced by others get to work with those people one day or whatever, and I like seeing the roots of where a human began.
Oh, what's your girl Amy Winehouse and
Oh my gosh, she got to work with
was it Tony Robbins?
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
But the thing is, I remember Amy.
It's not
that
Tony
was really
Robbins.
sad though, because Amy said she had a hard time because she was so nervous.
Right.
Working with Tony Bennett, and I can't. Like, I mean, I imagine if I got to work with one of my, like, idols, I would be fine, but probably internally freaking out. But I could totally understand why it would make you swallow your tongue. Like, I saw David Hyde Pierce in the park, like, once or twice. He said hi to me, and I, like, almost, like, died right there.
That was like when I met, David S. Goyer.
Or Charlie Cox. Like, when I met David Hyde Pierce, I had a crush on David Hyde Pierce's character Niles from Frasier as a kid, as like a teenager. And I saw him in the park, and he looked at me and smiled and said hi, and he had a handlebar mustache for a Broadway show he was doing, and I didn't recognize him. And I was like, hi. And I was all friendly, and I walked away, and I was literally shaking, like physically shaking.
When I met David S. Goyer, mind you, this person's not famous. He's a famous.
David S. Goyer? You remember?
David S. Goyer is a screenwriter. He wrote all three Blade movies.
That's who. That was so cool.
That dude. He's written, like, not all the movies he wrote were good, but like he wrote, hands down, wrote some of my favorite movies of all time.
When you met him?
Well, I was working. I was working this project years ago where I ended up doing a show at Comic-Con with the person who was in charge of the project, a man by the name of Roberto Williams. He actually owns a karaoke business in Brooklyn now.
Lions Roar Karaoke.
Shout out to Lions Roar Karaoke.
And he's doing an amazing project. We can't really discuss detail now.
He's working on something. I'm working on something else with him now.
And I'm involved with it as well.
Yeah, and Lindsay's involved with that. That's going to come out this summer. But at the time, he was producing a play called Fathers of the Dark Knight, where it was a play about the people who created Batman, because we wanted to tell the story of the true story of how Bob Kane kind of did Bill Finger dirty, and it was him and Bob Kane that created Batman together. Even Athena Finger, Bill Finger's granddaughter, shout out to Athena,
like the accepted movie about how Mark Zuckerberg fucked his friends, but
yeah, it was a lot like it was kind of like the Social Network of his day.
And our friend Lenny Swartz actually did a Batman play as well that Roberto and
was a character in.
Well, yeah, and Roberto and him are in communication. Shout out to Lenny Schwartz.
Yeah, shout out to Lenny.
I love you, man.
And shout out to Athena Finger. Anyway, so we had to go to Comic-Con to present our work. I don't even remember how we got in there, but the point is we did, and we had to go into the celebrity entrance, which was very cool because I met a bunch of celebrities that I love.
And that's very like that's very like eye-opening, and it's actually very humbling.
Right, and this was just before Avengers came out, I think, like either just before or like right. It was right at when the Marvel movies were becoming good. So I ran into a couple of those guys. I ran into H. John Benjamin.
Oh my God, I am so jealous.
That's Archer. That's Bob from Bob's Burgers. That's Coach McGurk. Like that.
Coach McGurk.
So, and he was super nice. And he, I met him.
You can find the Jug O Sip podcast on YouTube and Spotify every Monday and Friday.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow at Jug O Sip Podcast on all social media.